Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the reorganization and swearing-in ceremony of our elected officials for the town of Clarkstown as we begin a new decade and, of course, the new year 2020. As a Clarkstown Police Chaplain, I'm honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this evening. I'm going to ask that we kindly all rise as I now call upon the members of the Clarkstown Police Honor Guard for the presentation of the colors.
Stand by. Colors. Up. Colors. Port. Arms. Colors. Forward. March. Colors. Mark time. March. Colors. Present. Arms.
The Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be led by Chief Ray McCullough of the Clarkstown Police Department. Then our national anthem will be sung by the Clarkstown South Troubadours.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright skies and bright stars through the snow and bright skies, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets sprang flames, troubles bursting, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Colors. Right face.
Let us remain standing for the invocation, and our invocation this evening will be delivered by Rabbi Morgenstern from Chabad Lubavitch of Rockland.
Almighty God, in honor of today's swearing-in ceremony of the town supervisor, town council members, and elected officials, look favorably upon our elected officials representing Clarkstown and bestow upon them the joy of life, good health, and prosperity. Bless those who have been chosen to make laws and decisions for the citizens of our town, with wisdom and understanding in their noble pursuit of justice and equality. Give them guidance so that they and all elected officials will always be conscious of your presence and will strive to enact laws with honesty and integrity in accordance with your will. Grant them the wisdom to turn adversity into opportunity and to transform the challenges we face today into the seeds of growth for a greater tomorrow. Standing in the days following Hanukkah, Festival of Lights, we strive to internalize the message of the holy candles. Although at times the world may seem a dark and dreary place, and boy has it seemed that way lately, we have the potential to light a candle of hope and warmth to illuminate the darkness. Dear God, please help our elected officials who are most in position to do so. May our blessed country serve as a beacon of light for people of all faiths and walks of life. May our distinguished representatives help maintain the goal for which our country was established, namely, that it be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will conclude with the universal Hebrew prayer for peace. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May he who makes peace on high bring peace upon us and upon all of humanity, and let us say, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Kindly be seated. This evening, we are honored to have a number of distinguished guests, and at this time, I'd like to recognize them. The Honorable David Colucci, representing the Senator, is Brendan Cahill. The Honorable Edward Day, County Exec. Honorable Thomas Walsh, District Attorney. Honorable Louis Falco III, Sheriff. Honorable Ani Paul, District 14, Legislator. From the town of Clarkstown, the Honorable George Holman, Supervisor. Honorable Frank Borelli, Town Council. Honorable Michael Graziano, Town Council. Donald Franchino, Town Council. Patrick Carroll, Town Council. The Honorable Scott Ugel, Town Justice. The Honorable Howard Gerber, Town Justice. The Honorable David Asher, Town Justice. Honorable Justice Sweet, Town Clerk. The Honorable Robert Malone, Superintendent of Highways. Chief of Police, Chief Ray McCullough, and Captain Jeff Wanamaker. Also, I'd like to recognize Supervisor Jim Monahan from Stony Point, former Judge Vic Alfieri, and former Councilwoman Anne Marie Smith. And we will continue. Rockland County Republican Chair Lawrence Govey, Town GOP Chair Joe Ritter, Town Democrat Chair Megan Fusek. We will now at this time begin the oath of office. I'm going to ask Supervisor George Holman to kindly step forward. Mr. Holman will be joined by his wife Kathy as she holds the Bible, and the oath of office is administered by the Honorable Judge Scott Ugel. Joining them and standing by their side will be their children.
I, George Holman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of New York,
the Constitution and laws of the State of New York,
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge
the duties of the office
of Town Supervisor
of Town Supervisor
according to the law
according to the law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable George Holman.
I'll be offering some comments later, so just briefly, let me offer a few thank yous. First and foremost to my family, especially to my wife Kathy and to my 3 children. Unfortunately, my daughter Ashleen could not be here this evening, and my mother-in-law, who actually took a fall before the holidays and unfortunately is in rehab with recovering from a broken hip. My mother-in-law has always been here. I love my mother-in-law, which I want to preface that. You hear a lot of mother-in-law jokes, but I love my mother-in-law and had the unique experience. It was pretty funny. She's up at Helen Hayes Hospital, so I was visiting her yesterday, and I'm very proud of her, but she's very proud of me, and it was kind of cute because um, I got to Helen Hayes last night, and she was getting her hair done. And there's this big long line of wheelchairs, as they're going in, waiting for their hair to be done. And so I'm sitting with her for about 45 minutes, and we're chatting, and then they wheel her in, and she starts telling all the people in the room that that's my son-in-law, the supervisor of the town of Clarkstown. So I'm sorry that she's not here, but she's in our thoughts and our prayers. Again, I want to thank all the people who have been such great supports, aside from my family, my campaign chair and campaign team, Karen Amatuzzo, who's been there for the last 3 campaigns, and I'm so grateful for her friendship and her support, along with Roxanne, our additional campaign chair, who worked closely with Karen. We couldn't have done this without you guys, along with the entire team. I want to thank all the parties that endorsed me, in the Republican Party, Chairman Garvey, Chairman Reeder, as well as the Sam Party and the Conservative Party, Sam Namath, the chairman. Thank you for your continued support, as well as all the folks, the unions that all supported me for the election last year. Most importantly, I want to thank the people of Clarkstown for the honor and the privilege of serving you as your town supervisor now for my 3rd term. And I will continue to work hard every day for the people of Clarkstown. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Now call upon Councilman Frank Borelli. I ask that he kindly step forward. Mr. Borelli, representing Ward 1, will be joined by his wife, Melissa, and their daughter. Melissa will hold the Bible as the oath of office is administered by the Honorable David Asher, Clarkstown Town Justice. And his father, Frank, also.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Frank Borelli,
I, Frank Borelli,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Town Council
of the office of Town Council
of the Town of Clarkstown
of the Town of Clarkstown
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Frank Borelli.
Thank you. Very, very proud and very happy to be here. You know what? It's a lot of hard work to be in this office and the run for office, but it's worth it. But what's most gratifying is all the support you get from your family, my wife Melissa, my 3 daughters. Glad my dad could join us tonight. Without them, you can't do this. Anybody who serves in this position gets it. You go home and you live with this all the time, and I love it, but it's a lot of work, and it's only because of them that I can do it. But besides them, there's a lot of people to thank. George thanked a lot of folks. I'm going to do the same thing. My campaign committee, led by Doug Katz, that team did a great job. Again, you can't run for office without other people. It's not something you can do alone. I have a lot of terrific friends that were able to help me step up and be there when I needed them, and I really, truly appreciate that. The endorsements that I received from the Working Family Party, the Conservative Party, the Republican Party, the SAM Party, all the unions. Again, if you don't have broad support from different backgrounds, again, you can't do this. But the most important people, the people out there, the citizens of the town of Clarkstown, I like to think they voted for me because of my record, which I believe is a strong record, and I've worked hard every single day to do the right thing by the people of Clarkstown, and I will continue to do that, and that's my pledge. But without their support and without their vote, I could never be here. So I want to also congratulate my other colleagues on the town board who are serving again, or in the case of Mr. Graziano, who are newly elected. I look forward to working with Mike and my colleagues on the town board. We have a really good town board with terrific leadership from our supervisor, George Holman. So I know this will be another good 2 years. And all those, the judges that got reelected, our town clerk that got reelected, congratulations to you. And our newly elected highway superintendent, I wish him all the luck in the world also. And thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Councilman Burley. At this time, I call upon Councilman-elect Mr. Michael Graziano, who will be representing Ward 2. Mr. Graziano, our newest councilman, will be sworn in by the Honorable Judge Howard Gerber. Joining Mr. Graziano in holding the Bible will be his wife, Denise. I also invite his children and his mother to kindly join him at this time here in the front.
Raise your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Michelangelo Graziano,
I, Michelangelo Graziano,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to preserve, protect,
protect,
and
and
defend
defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New
and
York,
the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and to faithfully execute the duties
to execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of Town Councilman,
Town Councilman,
of the Town of
Town
Clarkstown,
of Clarkstown,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you this evening Clarkstown's newest councilman, and I'll go by the English version, the Honorable Michael Graziano. Congratulations,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Wow, I can't say that I'm not nervous, but I am. First of all, I just want to thank my entire family for being here, from my wife to my 4 children and my mother at 85 years old. She was probably she's probably one of my biggest supporters. She probably got more votes than anybody I know. But also, I have to thank my team. My team consists of some great individuals, ran by my daughter Christina, and the rest of the team, and Karen Amatuza for her guidance. I mean, every single one of them contributed to this journey. It was a great journey. I truly enjoyed it. I got to meet so many people throughout the town from all parties. And we're only given, and I thank Lawrence and the party for giving me the Republican line, but we only had that when we started out. And with the true team effort, we had to go out and win the other 3 lines, and we did. We won the independence line, the conservative line, and the working family line on a complete opportunity ballot, and that is truly through the team effort of everyone. And the people of Congress, Valley Cottage, Upper Nyack, and part of New City, and it was just really great in West Nyack. So I just want to thank the public, I really do. Also want to thank George for his guidance. He really he guided me through this thing. There was times when I needed help, and I would call on George anytime, any hour of the day, and he would be there, as well as Chief Ray McCulloch. I want to say thank you. And to the rest of the board members, I had times when I leaned on them for a little bit of guidance. They really came through, and I appreciate that, all of you. Also, I really want to thank is, and I hope you can do this, is to thank the first responders, the volunteers, the firemen, and the paramedics. When you see them, and if you're standing next to them, or sitting next to them, or you see them, just give them a great gratitude. I mean, they really lended a hand with this, and I owe them a big support and a great thank you. And those people really never get the true thank you. They volunteer their time, and I just want to make that aware that those are really great people there as well. My vow to Clarkstown and the people that I'm going to represent, I will be transparent. I will help out any way I can, and I will make the best of it. And I can assure you that as a lifelong resident of Clarkstown, I take pride in Clarkstown. I take pride in Rockland County, and I vow to support and protect and serve you people. And I truly mean that. And I say that not for today, but for all the tomorrows to come. And with that said, God bless you. Let's God bless this great country that we call America. And I thank you all. Thank you very much.
The oath of office now will be administered to Councilman Donald Franchino, who represents Ward 3. Joining Councilman Franchino will be his wife Karen, who will be holding the Bible as the Honorable Scott Ugel, Town Justice, administers the oath.
I, Don Franchino,
Do
solemnly
solemnly swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
and that I will faithfully
and impartially perform
and discharge the duties
the duties
of the office of Town Council
of the office of Town Council
according to the laws and the best of my ability.
according to the laws and the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Donald Franchino.
Thank you. Well, here we are, another 2 years. I salute the people in the town of Clarkstown, and I thank them for giving me the opportunity to serve for another 2 years. I congratulate the entire town board that we're going to be serving, and I would be remiss if I didn't stand here and mention the incident that occurred in Muncie, and I bring it to light because it can happen to any one of us anywhere. I support entirely this town, its goals, its destiny, and it's been my working relationship with the commercial districts within this ward to promote their businesses within the community. And I look forward to doing that over the next 2 years and to solve whatever issues may come up regarding these ratables, because that is the basis of this town. And the town of Clarkstown is enviable to many towns in the state of New York as a place where people want to come and want to live and educate their families. So I will continue to work tirelessly. During the campaign, my two sons advised me, campaign manager, Dad, you can't do this, Dad, you can't do that. So I did say to them when I'm out there, and they well know it, that I am an advocate for knocking on doors. And I knock on every single door of every single house, regardless of party affiliation, and introduce them. I'd like to thank Lawrence Garvey, the Republican chair, and also Joe Ryder, who welcomed me back into the Republican fold to run on this line, the conservatives, the working families, and the Sam Party. So all of that together ended up with this result. So I will continue to work for the people in the town of Clarkstown, and I'm totally committed to make this town the #1 town in the state of New York. Thank you very much.
Now representing Ward 4, I kindly ask Councilman Patrick Carroll to step forward. Town Justice David Asher will administer the oath of office to Councilman Carroll as his wife Natalie and his daughters hold the Bible. Okay, great. Bring them home.
Council PFD, I, Patrick Carroll,
I, Patrick Carroll,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Town Code of the Town of
and the
Clarkstown,
Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of office of Town Council
of office of Town Council
of the Town of Clarkstown
of the Town of Clarkstown
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Patrick Carroll.
I think they're saying what do we all feel like right now. Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. It is truly my honor to be here and being sworn in as my second term as councilman from Ward 4 here in Clarkstown. I want to thank again the people of Ward 4 for putting their faith in me and voting for me in this second time around this re-election campaign. Thank you to the voters for your support. Thank you to my supporters, my family and friends for all of your hard work during this tireless campaign. Thank you to the Rockland Democratic Chair, Kristen Zabrowski-Stavitsky. Thank you to the Clarkstown Democratic Chair, Megan Fursick, the Democratic Committee, all of my fellow candidates who put hard work in from the snows of February through the heat of August through the late days of the fall. Thank you to all the other parties that endorsed me, the Working Families Party, the Independence Party, and the Conservative Party. Thank you to Chairman Naaman of that party for all the hard work they put in. I want to acknowledge some of those very special people who are here tonight. You saw many of them, and all of the ones I'm going to acknowledge up here up front, but I want a couple of words about each of them. First, my beautiful wife, Natalie, who for the second election in a row has juggled her job, the responsibilities of our 3 young daughters, our house, and everything else while I was out on the campaign trail. Late in the weekends and through the during the weeknights and through the weekends. Though she was doing it all herself, she still found time to urge me out on the campaign trail to knock on doors when I'd come home early on a Saturday or Sunday to take a break. My daughters, Madeline, Lily, and Paige, they are the reason I became involved in this government. Our children are Clarkstown's future, and we, as local leaders, need to ensure that our children can afford to live in this town and that the town continues to be a place that we can call home. Madeline, she did her part in Bardonia to introduce me to all of her friends in kindergarten, so I thank her for that. She also summed up my opposition, as only a 5-year-old could do. I'll leave that part out. Lily and Paige did their own part on many weekend activities and became very skilled as we drove through the town, pointing out the condition of my signs that needed to be stood up again or replaced. My brother's in town, Lieutenant Colonel Brendan Carroll, who's here tonight, my mother, Mary Ann Carroll. They came down from Rhode Island, yes, Rhode Island, not Massachusetts, for the swearing in. My mother held elected office on the school, town, and state level in Rhode Island, and at a young age, even after countless elections together, at a young age, she got me involved, and after countless elections together, she still got roped into lit drops and envelope stuffing when she came to visit last year. My brother-in-law, Mark, who couldn't be here tonight because he just got back from the Philippines, and my mother-in-law, Edna Francisco, was here with my daughters. They both helped us both on the campaign trail and at home. Clarkstown Ward 4 is Clarkstown's most diverse ward. And as it turns out, my mother-in-law knows most of the Filipinos who live in that ward. So thank you all for your hard work and support. I couldn't have done it without you, without everyone in this room who voted for me, and my family and my loved ones. I'm going to leave issues out of tonight because I think tonight's about a ceremony and a celebration of what we have done and what we have to do moving forward. I want to wish good luck to all of my colleagues on the town board. We have 2 years ahead of us. I think together we can work hard. I am, and I have been, unanimously elected as the minority leader of this town board. So I'm going to take that title, and I'm going to run with it. I did leave out a couple of endorsements. The police endorsed me, the CSEA, the Clarkstown teachers. Your tireless support helped me along with everyone else I mentioned. So the issues can stay on for another day. We'll talk about them in the future. The kids need to get home to bed, and we all do at some time too. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
The oath of office now will be administered to our town clerk, Justin Sweet. Mr. Sweet will be joined by his wife, Olga, who will be holding the Bible as the oath of office is administered by County Court Judge, the Honorable Judge Rod Thorson.
Are we ready? Please raise your right hand for me. I, Justin Sweet, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Town Clerk of the Town of Clarkstown,
of the office of Town Clerk of the Town of Clarkstown,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our town clerk, the Honorable Justin Sweet, and as he approaches the podium, I will also say that Judge Thorson is also acting Supreme Court Justice.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Thank you to my wife, Olga, my children, who give me the motivation to pursue this path of public service. There's so many people I could thank today that helped me along the path to this moment. Many people in this room, many more people outside of these walls. Even people who weren't so helpful or constructive. I've learned from my experiences with those people as well. I've learned that it's important to strive to be a good public speaker, perhaps even a great orator, but it's much more important to listen, and listen I have. I have heard the countless voices of people struggling with the financial burden that just living in this community presents to people and their families. I have listened to people tell me how they struggled with the cost of caring for a sick family member, some even driven to the brink of bankruptcy just to see their loved ones survive. I have listened to residents and neighbors tell me how concerned they are for the education and future of their children. Young people saddled with once unimaginable amounts of debt, just trying to educate themselves and seek a better life. Those experiences shaped me into the person I am today. Tonight we are here to witness and celebrate the election of these fine people to run this great town of ours. some for the first time. A word of advice from someone who has had the privilege of serving our community as an elected official for 9 years. These jobs, these positions of public service, they're about so much more than buildings, parking lots, and bonded projects. At its core, our mission is one of public service. It's the people of this community we are here to help. It's not so much about the license we issue or the road we pave as the people we are doing it for. The person I have become, the things I have accomplished, it will always be with the people I serve in mind. My staff and I have been able to accomplish great things in my time at Town Hall, but the greatest accomplishment will always be helping my fellow man. Thank you to everyone who supported me and gave me the opportunity to do just that. As always, our office is here to help you. Thank you all. God bless America, and God bless you all.
And now call upon the Superintendent-elect of Highways, Robert Malone. Mr. Malone will be joined by his wife, Lori, who will hold the Bible as the oath of office is administered by the Honorable Judge Scott Ugel. I also invite Mr. Malone's family to join him here in the front.
By the way, this is not the first time I've had Bob take an oath. I performed their wedding how many years ago? Boom. I, Bob Malone,
I, Bob Malone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
and I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent of Highways, Town of Clarkstown,
Superintendent of Highways, Town of Clarkstown,
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, my honor to present to you our new Superintendent of Highways, the Honorable Robert Malone.
I know, right? I want to thank everyone for coming this evening. I got a little cheat sheet because on election night I blew it and I was filled with emotion and I forgot to thank everyone. Like it's been said before, you know, it takes a team effort to do this and a lot of support from my family. So I want to first of all thank my family, especially my wife Lori. She's been very supportive. We've been through this campaign a couple of times and, you know, it wasn't successful, but this time, you know, we made it to the finish line and I couldn't be more proud to have her standing by me. And I also want to thank my wife and my children, Maggie and Danielle, and my brother and sister, and my sister Peggy for all the help and support they have been giving me too, and of course my sister-in-law Barbara. I also want to thank the party leaders. Lawrence Garvey's been a chairman of the Republican Party. He's been a great friend, and he's always been there to support me. He's not just a party leader, but a good friend of mine. And I want to thank him also, and Joe Ryder as the town chair, and also the endorsements from the parties of the Conservative Party, from Sam Namath, and the Working Families Party, Dan Caprera, and the SAM Party for their support. I've been involved with labor for many, many years, and without their help, I would never have been able to get here either. So I wanted to thank the labor leaders of Rockland County. I want to thank Sam Fratto,
of IBW 363, Gil Heim, also from 363, and also the Rockland County Central Labor Council. He's the president of the Labor Council. John Mariah, president of the Rockland County Trades Council. Stephen Reach of the Laborers Union, and Dennis Trainer from the Communication Workers District 1. I also want to thank the people I was running with, George Holman, Frank Borelli, and Don Francino for their support. We did a lot of door knocking together, and they walked me around and introduced me to people, and they always gave me the support that I needed, to get here. Also want to thank my campaign manager, Phil DeGaetano. He's been great. He knew what buttons to push and when to push them, and sometimes I really thought he was working with my wife on that too, because she knows what buttons to push too. So I really want to thank Phil and Frank Borelli. They were working together on, giving me the advice and, to get forward and get here today. I also want to thank Frank DeCenzo, our outgoing superintendent, for over 30-something years serving the town. He's going to retire, and I want to wish him and his family the best after, again, serving this town for over 30-something years. I also want to thank Pete Bradley. He's our outgoing councilman. He's been very supportive of me also. So, again, I'd like to thank him and my friend Jim Monahan. Me and Jimmy, we went back years. I've known Jim since we were like 15, and he's been a great friend and always there for me also. And also looking forward and congratulate everyone here that has been elected in the town board. I want to thank them. I'm looking forward to working with them all. I want to especially thank Mike Graziano, graduate Mike Graziano for winning his election, and him and I will be the rookies here, and we're gonna do okay here though. But most of all, I'm honored and proud and humbled to be for the residents of Clarkstown to put me in this position and have the confidence in me to run the highway department. I've been working down there for the last month and a half, and meeting the members and women and men of the highway department, and they're great. And I think it's going to be they work hard, and I think with a little more communication with the public, I think we're going to turn things around and make things a little better, then make the best highway department even better. Again, I want to thank everyone. I'm sorry for being long-winded, and appreciate it all. Good night.
Wait, you forgot the chocolate.
Don't worry, I got them. Now, if you'll bear with me, Town Justice Howard Gerber will now take the oath of office. Joining Judge Gerber will be Candace Draper, Chief Court Clerk for the Town of Clarkstown. She will hold the Bible along with her colleagues as the oath of office is administered by the Justice of the Supreme Court of the State of New York for the 9th Judicial District, the Honorable Judge Linda S. Jameson.
I, Howard Gerber,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and the Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
to faithfully perform my duties
and to faithfully perform my duties
as Justice of the Town of Clarkstown
as Justice of the Town of Clarkstown
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Judge Howard Gerber.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board, all the guests who are here this evening. This is the 5th time that I've had the privilege of standing before you to take the oath of office. While this may have become a routine matter for some people, like my family, who are scattered all over the country at this point, it is not routine for me. I am honored and privileged and humbled to have been reelected and to be taking the oath of office again. I would like to thank all the people who have helped me from the very beginning, including my family, friends, and all the political leaders of all the political parties who have supported me. I could not have done it without you or your help. Thank you. To my other family, my court staff, I could not do it, and I cannot do it without you. As I have said during each of my campaigns, I do not believe there is a political way to be a town court judge. There is no Democratic, Republican, Independent, Conservative, Green, or Working Families Party way to be a judge. There is only a right way and a wrong way. I believe that since 2007, I have done it the right way. But that judgment is not up to me or to any one of us up here. While it is clear that not everyone supported me or even voted for me, it is clear that the majority of voters supported me and they voted for me. To those who supported me and worked for me, and to those who did not, I promise to continue serving all the people. I intend to do my best to do it the right way. Thank you. God bless the town of Clarkstown and the United States of America.
I now ask our town justice, the Honorable David Asher, to kindly step forward. Judge Asher will have the oath of office administered by the Honorable Judge Thorson, County Court Judge, Acting Supreme Court Justice. Joining Judge Asher will be his wife, Allison, who will hold the Bible, and the oath of office will now be administered. We'll also have his family join.
Your Honor, would you kindly raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, David M. Asher,
I, David M. Asher,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and the Town Code of the Town of Clarkstown,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Town Justice of the Town of Clarkstown,
of the office of Town Justice of the Town of Clarkstown,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Judge David Asher.
I know that I'm last and you all want to leave, so I will be as quick as possible. However, I do have authority to issue warrants and subpoenas, so don't leave just yet. I want to thank everybody for my reelection. I want to thank my family, my wife, Allison, and my children, Sean and Maya, for their help. I want to thank my court staff, my co-judge, Judge Gerber, Johns, and Ugel. I want to thank all of the other electeds who ran this year. Anybody who's ever run for public office knows this is a full-time job just to run for public office. And you need a team, you need a support staff. I had a huge help in my county and town chairs, Megan and Kristen. I had help from Michael and Stephen, who helped me run the campaign. Anybody who's knocked on the door for me, anybody who's handed out a flyer, anybody who supported me. Again, I was supported by our Clarkstown Police Department, Chief McCullough, and the department supported me throughout my last campaign and this one. I want to thank them for everything. All of the members of the town of Clarkstown who came out to vote and support. It's not just for me, it's for understanding that in an election, in a campaign, you're here to serve the people. That's what I aim to do. This is the greatest job I've ever had. I work my hardest at it, and I want to continue to do it. I'm happy to do it for another 4 years. So thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this now concludes the swearing-in ceremony of our town officials. We will now have a musical interlude, which will be performed by the Clarkstown South Troubadours.
The piece that the students will be singing for you this evening is a text, Dona nobis pacem, Latin, which translated means grant us peace.
Dona
And please join me once again in thanking these young people for taking the time and joining us here this evening and for doing such a beautiful job. At this time, we will have remarks from our town supervisor, the Honorable George Holman.
Pretty good, Al, but thank you. Let's give him a hand. And before I begin, I want to I do want to recognize legislator Lon Hofstein, a good friend and an able representative of the people of Clarkstown, who's joined us, who's in the back. Thank you, Lon, for being here. And I want to thank Reverend Lothrop. Just within the past 4 weeks, he had surgery and he's back on the mend. And I want to thank him, as he always does, working with our police department in times of tragedy, comforting and delivering sometimes the very unwelcome news that our police are called upon to do. He works closely with them as a chaplain to the police department and also as the MC for a lot of these ceremonies. I'm grateful, Reverend, that you're back on the mend, and thank you for being here. And again, to Rabbi Morgenstern, a good friend, and to Reverend Father McKeown, thank you so much for being here. And I'll take a point of personal privilege as well. I want to thank, we're kind of making a habit of this, but having the troubadours from Clarkstown South join us. With Mr. Bonsignor, I'm actually a little emotional over this because my daughter Kira is in Troubadours and she's a senior at Clarkstown South, so this will be her last time performing as a member of Troubadours likely here. And Kira, I love you very much. Love the Troubadours, and Mr. Bonsignor, we love you too as well, so thank you so very much. So again, good evening, and thank you for attending our 2020 Town of Clarkstown Reorganization Meeting. And again, I would like to take the moment to recognize and thank several of the elected officials that are here tonight, as well as my colleagues. I first want to recognize and congratulate and thank my colleagues on the town board. I look forward to working closely with them, especially Councilman Frank Borelli, Councilman Don Franchino, Councilman Patrick Carroll, and our newest Councilman, Michael Graziano. We have a busy agenda coming forward, and I really look forward to working with each of you in the coming year to make Clarkstown the best place to live. I also want to recognize our town clerk, Justin Sweet, and congratulate him on his victory, as well as our new superintendent of highways, who's going to be very busy. He's already been working hard. I want to thank Bob Malone as well. Congratulations to both of you. And I was joking the other day. I said, Bob, you got off to a great start. I was pulling into the parking lot after the little dusting of snow we had, and I said, Bob, great job. The roads were black this morning. Take the compliment when you can get it. Trust me. I also want to thank our retiring superintendent of highways, Frank DeCenzo, for his very many years of service and for his friendship and his wonderful job as highway superintendent. Let's congratulate and thank Frank on his retirement. Likewise, I want to thank my friend and former colleague, Peter Bradley, for his service to the town of Clarkstown. Let's thank him as well. I know he's not here. And again, recognize our judges, Judge Craig Johns, Judge Scott Ugel, and congratulations, of course, to Judge Asher and Judge Gerber. They're all good men, and they work very hard for the people of the town, and I look forward to working with you for the number of years coming ahead, so congratulations. And again, to Police Chief Ray McCullough and his entire administration, Captain Wanamaker, for leading the most exceptional police department in the country. The Clarkstown Police Department is actually the largest police department in all of New York State. There are 932 towns, and we're actually the largest town police department out of the entire state. It's a daunting task, and Chief McCullough and your team, you do the job exceptionally well. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank our County Executive, Ed Day, who is on his way. I want to thank him for his partnership and his leadership. Also, we had joining us earlier, he was unable to stay, but my good friend, the Sheriff of Rockland County, Lou Falco. Lou and I have known each other for about 20 years. He stopped by here on his way to the Orangetown swearing in where he actually lives, but I was very touched by Lou's presence here. I want to thank him for his service. And our new District Attorney, Tom Walsh, who also likewise stopped earlier on. And our Judge Walsh has had the daunting task of really taking over in a time of great change. We'll speak briefly about it later on, the criminal justice reform, and Judge Walsh is ably up to the task. I look forward to working with him for many years to come. And then finally, to my very good friend, he's a former Clarkstown resident. I guess he didn't see the light, didn't stay here. What do you want from a Congoroid, right? But our former resident, but also joining me as a three-term town supervisor, Supervisor Jim Monahan of the town of Stony Point. Thank you, Jim. And of course, as I mentioned, Legislator Hofstein and Legislator Paul, thank you so very much. As we start the new year together, I wanted to take the opportunity to reflect upon the past. Together, we have accomplished many great things, and we have made a lot of progress in advancing our town. As your town supervisor, it has been my priority to maintain and improve our infrastructure. Since 2016, we've done just that. During the past 4 years, we have completed in excess of $45 million in capital improvements and infrastructure projects. We have resurfaced 97 miles of our town's 297 miles worth of roads. That's roughly 1/3 of our town roads, triple the amount that we would have averaged previously. We have sought consolidations and found savings and management efficiencies. The most recent is the consolidation of our Department of Environmental Control, Building Maintenance, and Parks Maintenance staff into the new Department of Engineering and Facilities Maintenance. In the first year alone, we saved $400,000 in reduced salaries and reduction of costs by doing projects in-house. Thank you to Dennis Letson, Al Maroney, Mike Melton, Ron Gaglione, and all of the staff of that department for a great job with the merger of these departments and for all the significant improvements that we've been able to undertake in the past year. I'm very grateful. This past year, we completed the long-awaited Cranford Drive drainage project in New City. This is a project that had been discussed for very many years, in fact, over 30 years. The $5.3 million project was a joint effort between the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, Rockland County, and the town of Clarkstown. And it will alleviate catastrophic flooding incidents that have occurred in that area for many years. The project was mostly funded by grants. Last year, we also completed the final phase of the renovation of Street Community Center with a multi-purpose room, new updated classrooms for programs, new workout rooms, and also a new monument to honor our veterans. Very special thanks to Elaine Alphabaum, our Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, and her staff for her efforts on that. We also completed the restoration of the historic Tolman Budke House adjacent to Germans Park. This was very special to me, having grown up down the street from the Traphagen and Budke houses, and also for having a bit of a passion for local history and appreciation of our town's history. Special thanks are in order to Assemblyman Zabrowski and Senator Carlucci, who were able to secure $650,000 for that project. It's an excellent representation of a Jersey Dutch sandstone colonial, and it dates back to 1735. The property has also attracted thousands of residents at various events throughout the past couple of years. Thank you to Paula Tobin and all the folks from Heritage of West Nyack for their assistance with some wonderful programming that we've brought to that property. We've had many plans for that property going forward, including a history camp this summer that will take place for our students, as well as the opportunities for major motion pictures to be filmed on site. We've had numerous studios that are considering the site. Also last year, we adopted probably the greatest update in zoning within the town in probably the last 30 years with the transit-oriented development rezoning in downtown Nanuet. The hamlet of Nanuet is really uniquely poised for redevelopment. It's strategically located, as we know, near the junction of the New York State Thruway and Route 59 and the Metro North rail line. It's a prime locale for improved housing, commuting, shopping, and leisure. The new zoning includes mixed-use retail and office, residential units, pedestrian paths, and storefront streets and parks. We are meeting regularly with property owners and developers and expect plans before the land use boards shortly. The new zoning has the potential to bring in over $100 million in new ratables for the town of Clarkstown and the Nanuet School District. Let me repeat that again. Over $100 million in new tax ratables for the town and the school district. I want to especially thank our town planner, Joe Simos, and his entire team for his efforts in that regard. The last 2 years, we've also seen a real increase in our ratables from new residential and commercial development and expansion across the town. The increase was particularly dramatic last year, with over $22 million alone hitting the books and over $45 million over the past 3 years. It speaks directly to the confidence that people have in Clarkstown as a place to live and to start their business. Last year, we continued the trend that we had started in 2016 to reduce our bonded debt. And despite all the infrastructure projects that we mentioned and many others, we reduced our bonded debt by another $500,000 and a total of over $6 million in reduction since 2016. We have the highest municipal bond rating in the county, and I'm very proud of the strong financial position that I and the town board have with our town, as Clarkstown is the economic engine of Rockland County. In the last 4 years, we also undertook and acquired several important properties to meet the needs of our residents. These include the Rockland Country Day School, 21 acres and 5 buildings adjacent to our town park, which has innumerable possibilities. This year, we'll be moving forward with a senior housing proposal on a portion of the property. We also purchased 4 acres at the Mountain View Avenue in Valley Cottage to help create trails, and it will be merged into the Mountain View Nature Preserve that we'll be working on later this year. We preserved 17 acres in the Marydell property in Upper Nyack, which was incorporated into the Hook Mountain State Park. And last year, we announced our intention in a bipartisan fashion to purchase the Grace Baptist Church in Nanuet, which we will close upon shortly. This also will be an opportunity for redevelopment and potentially for senior housing within our town. The hallmark of our administration, frankly, has also been strict code enforcement in an effort to preserve the quality of life of our town. Other municipalities now look to us, the town of Clarkstown, as an example of the way things should be done. By adding code enforcement officers and a career criminal prosecutor, our numbers have dramatically increased and are impactful. That career criminal prosecutor, Leslie Kahn, has now become our town attorney. And we all look forward to continuing working with Leslie in this role and in her new leadership role. I also want to thank Erica Scheim, our building inspector, and his entire department for all of their hard work in protecting the neighborhoods in Clarkstown from illegal housing and code violations. Thank you, Eric. So in brief, that's a summary of what we've done. That was then, but this is now. So what are our plans for the future for the coming year? This year, we have an ambitious agenda doing the people's business that includes more capital projects, updating our comprehensive plan, a host of other economic development initiatives, including the hiring of an economic development coordinator and enhanced public safety and outreach. We will continue investing in our infrastructure to preserve our future. Later this spring, we will begin phase 1 of the West Nyack Revitalization Project. This long-awaited project will alleviate chronic flooding that occurs near the post office with the creation of detention ponds and drainage improvements, a dramatic expansion of the park that will include a playground, walking trails, and a parking lot. Also in West Nyack, later this year, we will start the Klein Avenue Levee Project, which we received $3.2 million in grants. This will enable us to raise the levee by 4 feet. This project will literally save hundreds of homes and numerous residents from catastrophic flooding. It will take dozens of residents' houses out of the floodplain and ensuring many of our West Nyack residents will never have to face catastrophic flooding ever again. We will continue to pave more roads. As I said, our highway superintendent will be very busy as we this year will pave at least another 25 miles of roads. Again, typically triple the number that the town has ever done in the past. Our new highway superintendent, as I said, has got his work cut out for him, and I look forward to Bob being able to take up the task and get that project done quickly. We'll also continue upgrading our remaining sewer pump stations. It's not the sexiest of projects, but it's very needed. We have over 27 sewer pump stations within the town. We're down to our last 4 that are near the end of their life, and they'll all be done this year. We're going to work with the Nanuet Chamber of Commerce, and I see a number of folks here from the Chamber of Commerce on updating improvements to Main Street and Nanuet with new crosswalks, benches, and lighting improvements. We're also working with the Chamber to bring about the creation of the Nanuet Chamber Park on Route 59 and West Nyack Road. I'm looking forward to that. The Chamber's raised some money, and the town has obtained some grants and permission from the state DOT, and it'll be a beautiful expansion of the park over there. We're also going to undertake a number of energy-efficient upgrades via a program with the New York Power Authority, and we're actually going to be redoing all of the lighting within Town Hall to energy-efficient lighting here that will save us thousands of dollars and have a great impact on our operational budget. Later this month, also in the environmental sector, we're going to become the first and only municipality in the county to become home to an electric charging station. The project, largely funded by NYSERDA and New York State DEC grants, will expand the green infrastructure within our community and provide 4 spaces in the lower parking lot as a charging station for electric vehicles and hybrids. Continuing in the environmental sector, we will become the first town in Rockland County to implement community choice aggregation that will save Clarkstown residents countless amounts of money on their electric bills. As I said, we're going to upgrade Town Hall, but we're also going to upgrade our downtown areas with LED lights, converting them from the incandescent lights to LEDs, saving thousands of dollars and also improving our lighting within the area. And later this year, we're going to reauthorize HUD, the HUD approval, and refinance our town-owned Middlewood Senior Citizen Complex, which will enable us to complete in excess of $3 million in repairs to Middlewood and ensure that the residents in the town of Clarkstown have this place as a viable alternative and option for seniors for the next 40 years. We're going to focus on economic development across the town, helping existing businesses and attracting new ones. In 2020, we will recruit and hire an economic development specialist to assist in the process of improving our outreach to attract new businesses to the town. The position was added in the 2020 budget and will enable Clarkstown to attract new ratables and to promote the town, particularly in the tourism sector. Another crucial opportunity for us is the update of our comprehensive plan. The update is overdue, and it must consider the future needs of our residents in the light of the ever-changing retail climate. Our zoning has been predicated upon a model that worked for many years, but it's changing. People will always want to go to the store to touch and feel an item. But let's face it, many of us utilize Amazon and the internet, and thus retail consequently is changing. Box stores are shrinking, and warehousing is becoming very critical and in dire need. We must also therefore change and look, as we did in Nanuet, and see the opportunities for redevelopment and for mixed use. We need more manufacturing zoning for warehousing, and we need more residential options for our seniors and for millennials. There's a critical need in our region as retailers are looking for fulfillment centers near major highways to store and to ship their products to the customer. In New Jersey, we've seen this redevelopment of regional malls to smaller, more versatile mixed-use residential and commercial centers with corresponding supporting warehouse developing nearby. This is the future that we must grasp and take a hold of to ensure that Clarkstown remains strong. The comprehensive plan will be a roadmap to that destination. The legal case with the Palisades Mall is winding its way through the courts, and we expect the town's position to again be reaffirmed perhaps as soon as April. However, given the changing face of retail, we need to tackle this problem head on with a plan to address retail by targeted zone change and present potential opportunities for new diverse redevelopment and enhancements to ensure the viability of the Palisades Mall and our downtown and commercial areas. I look forward to moving ahead in this area with our comprehensive plan update and working with the mall. We will continue to protect our town with strict code enforcement and preserving our quality of life as we develop and promulgate an updated comprehensive plan and the related zoning that will follow. It will ensure that Clarkstown will remain the economic hub of Rockland County. However, we also understand that not all is as rosy as challenges lie ahead, many of which are frankly out of our control. The recent changes with criminal justice reform is one such challenge that has left our town, and frankly our county and state, vulnerable and less safe. We've added money to the budget to face the issue, but only time will tell as to the real cost and the total impact that these rush-through reforms will have. One thing is certain, we have already seen several instances of colossal failures that must immediately be addressed by our representatives in Albany. We must be ever vigilant in raising this alarm. In Haverstraw, just before Christmas, we saw a man here illegally, operating a motor vehicle without a license, who ran over and killed a young mother fleeing from the scene. Remarkably, this gentleman was let out without bail due to the criminal justice reforms. In New York City, we've seen numerous anti-Semitic attacks and assaults whereby the judges had no discretion and were forced to let these people out without bail just on an appearance ticket and a promise to return. The front page of the New York tabloid newspapers screamed headlines, often with a photo of a smirking assailant who was let out on an appearance ticket. Several of these individuals went out and committed similar offenses, again, often within hours or days. And just last week, in Westchester, a man was arrested for assault and immediately upon his release proceeded to smash in the glass door to the local police station. In short, we are far less safe and our police officers' jobs are far more difficult and much harder due to these reforms. I will continue to work with the entire town board, with our state officials and our town supervisors, along with our DA and sheriff, to call for the needed reforms to these reforms, as the situation, if it continues, will become intolerable, creating a revolving door in our justice system whereby the consequences that we face will be catastrophic. Likewise, we have to be mindful and take caution, as Albany has a $6 billion projected budget deficit, the largest in a generation, meaning that actions will likely occur that most certainly will affect the bottom line for local governments. Just as water runs downhill, a deficit in Albany typically finds its way to the local municipalities, to the counties, and to the towns. We'll need to be prepared to address these and other issues that may present themselves throughout the coming year. In closing, as I enter my third term and fifth year as your town supervisor, I'm extremely optimistic about the coming year. While we face challenges and some uncertainty ahead, we realize that we have a path to follow together. One of my favorite authors is Rabbi Harold S. Kushner, who many years ago wrote the landmark book entitled When Bad Things Happen to Good People. The book recalled the terrible tragedy and life lessons that the rabbi learned from his son Aaron, who died prematurely due to the rapid aging disease. Recently, I was reading his newest book, a commentary on the 23rd Psalm, where he recounts a story from the Talmud about a traveler who stops and asks a child for directions. The older traveler is on a journey and looking for a shortcut, as many of us often do when we are traveling somewhere. So as he stops and asks an unlikely person for directions, a small child, he asks the child if he knows a better way to the village where he's going, specifically asking, is there a shortcut that he can take? The child responds with words that mark wisdom well beyond his years, saying, there is a shortcut that is long, but there is a long way that is indeed short. The wisdom of these words guide us and serve as a reminder to each of us for the coming year. In life, there are many shortcuts that present themselves to all of us, but these often lead us down roads that are far longer than they should be, or were roads that we were never meant to travel upon. In 2020, we are on the road together that we were all meant to be upon. a long road that we'll travel together, and if we do it correctly, it's a road that's clear, straight, and indeed short. We're on that road, which if we work together will bring us to our destination and help us meet these and other goals. I'm grateful at this moment in time to be on that road with each and every one of you as together we continue our journey. May God bless our steps and the paths that we take. And in the words in the prayer of the psalmist from the Old Testament, offered many thousands of years ago, may the Lord prosper the work of our hands. May he prosper the work of our hands. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless our beloved and wonderful town of Clarkstown. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Holman. I'm going to ask that we kindly all rise for the benediction. The benediction this evening will be delivered by Father Robert McCune, pastor of St. Francis Assisi Catholic Church in West Nyack, New York.
Let us pray. Lord God, we call upon your divine blessing for these elected officials as they begin anew their service to the people of our community of Clarkstown. Lord, make them wise and forthright in their leadership. Provide them with the prudence to discern our true good in every circumstance and to choose the right means of achieving it. Afford them justice, the moral virtue that offers them the constant and firm will to give their due to you, Almighty God, and to their brothers and sisters in this community. A virtue that provides them habitual right thinking and uprightness of conduct. Give them fortitude, Lord, the virtue that ensures firmness in difficulties, constancy in the pursuit of the good, strength to resist temptations, and courage to conquer fear and to face trials and persecutions. Bless them with the moral virtue of temperance that moderates the attraction of pleasures, provides balance in temperament and instincts, and keeps desires within the limits of what is truly honorable. Lord, may they serve your people and make decisions according to your divine desire, knowing that your will is perfect for each person in their care. We make this prayer to you, Almighty God, who live and reign forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Father McCune. At this time, I'm going to ask that we kindly remain standing as the musical selection by the Clarkstown South Troubadours, God Bless America.
Storm clouds gather far across the sea. Let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in that I love, stand beside